joined by WWE superstar and Gillette spokesperson John Cena. How you doing today, John?
I'm fantastic.
And what's it like your Gillette campaign? How's that going for you?
The relationship with Gillette is phenomenal. They have been nothing but good to me and the WWE. And in return, I think we've offered the brand a lot of exposure that they normally wouldn't get. We've opened them up to a whole new universe. That's the WWE universe.
I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about finishing moves. I remember Steve Austin saying that the reason why the Stone Cold Stunner was so effective was because he was able to use it on any opponent, no matter what their size. What do you look for in effectiveness when determining what a finishing move will be?
Something that can beat somebody?
Yeah, you bet. But for instance, the attitude adjustment. How'd you come up with it?
Strength has always been one of my showcases, and I can, in Steve Austin's words, I'll use his quote. I can do that to anyone. I can do it to actually. I've had up to 2 or 3 guys on my back at once. It's a devastating move that I can perform on anyone at any given time, and it actually works.
What about injuries? Obviously, you're more injury prone if you're having 2 or 3 guys on your back at one time.
It's a physical sport. You can be injured walking into the ring. It's one of those things like in football. You know, athletes sometimes become injured during practice or have mild injuries during games. It's a physical sport. I can't worry about injuries when I'm out there because it'll affect my rate of play.
Now, when it comes to the fans, I would assume that you want something that's going to be the most exciting for them, something that's probably not on the mat so that they can see it the best. How do you determine what your finishing move will be when it comes to the fans' point of view and making it the most exciting possible?
I would just like to think the fans get excited when I win.
Well, yeah, I would hope so anyway. What about
that's what I'm hoping.
When you're first determining that, though, what do you find makes it the most exciting? Is it standing up? Is it lifting a guy? Like, I know that you like to lift a guy over your head, but is that what went into it?
For me, those are my strong points. I'm known for my strength. So for me to try to do some sort of finesse maneuver to incapacitate my opponent wouldn't really make sense. It'd be like putting ballerina shoes on a gorilla. So I just kind of go with what I know, and I think every WWE superstar does the same. They choose a maneuver that suits them the best, and for me, it is anything that involves raw strength.
What about coming up with a name for one? Like, there are such creative names when it comes to finishing moves. You have the attitude adjustment, you have the STF, and so what do you do to come up with a name for it?
Well, the STF was already named, and the attitude adjustment, I actually renamed that maneuver because for the longest time, I've been a target in the WWE, and usually the guys who come after me need a serious attitude adjustment. So after they suffer the consequences of the attitude adjustment, I'd like to think that they change the way they look at me.
Where does intimidation come into it? When you go up against a name like attitude adjustment, you know that somebody's going to be intimidating, knowing that you're about to put them into that.
Intimidation is a part of the psychological warfare that's sport. Whether it's in a WWE ring, on a football field, in a baseball diamond, in a hockey rink. I think if one team can win the mental battle, or if one person can win a mental battle, the event is over before it starts.
Now, what has been, okay, who would you say has the best finishing move other than yourself?
The Undertaker.
Why?
Because he is undefeated at WrestleMania with that very maneuver, and he has made an entire career spanning decades on the success of that maneuver.
Who has the hardest one to get out of?
I would say me.
Really?
If you'd like to tie me up and see if you can get out, I don't know if you can make it out of there.
I probably don't think I could either. That would be pretty intimidating, actually. So, okay, well, are we talking just for the STF, or are we talking for the attitude adjustment too?
I would say the submission moves are the toughest to get out of. Usually the power moves, there's always a way to counter something, but once a guy incapacitates you with any type of submission maneuver, it's tough to get out of.
Who has the hardest submission maneuver then?
Oh, it's got to be me.
Okay, then who other than yourself?
Who other than myself?
Yeah.
Chris Jericho's got a pretty good one. The Walls of Jericho. I've been locked in that a lot of times, and that's very, very painful.
Awesome. Well, John, it's been such a pleasure. John Cena, WWE superstar, Gillette spokesperson, thank you so much.
talking finishing maneuvers. Thank you. Okay, pros, very organized, certainly had a format that you wanted to follow, and I think fell within the time window, never seemed nervous, never stopped, there was no deer in headlights moment. Cons, the topic was beat to death. Maybe touch, that's like a one-word answer. Hey, you happy with your finishing maneuver? Move on. Like, in the day and age of short attention span theater, you got to keep the interview moving. And I was really trying to do my best to one-word her to death or let her know that her questions were boring. You got to get off the topic. Come to an interview with 30 topics. Maybe you use 5, maybe you use 10, maybe you use all 30. But it's better at the end of the interview to say, man, we didn't touch on these 15 things. I'll use them next time. Than, damn, I wish I had 7 more things to talk to that dude about because I spent 5 minutes talking to him about finishing maneuvers. Do more homework next time. Homework next time.